Fight for God, honor, country, family. Yourself like you don't care. You fight!
Alright guys, really quick before the video starts, I'm trying to start a new thing here. I want to encourage commenting on the videos. So for the next couple of videos, I'm going to give it a try where I snip out the most recent comments you all have posted, then I'll talk to them, talk about them, or respond to them, or thank you for them. Or at least the ones I find interesting at least. And I'll comment about them in the video before the video gets. Let me get through these really quick. So this first one from Noah. He commented thanking me for my commentary, and I appreciate that, Noah. I do my best to keep it up. We have one from Leonardo. He's asking about the submod here. He's asking about the flag bearers for generals, and just to let you know, Leonardo, I did reply to your comment, and that is what this submod is, how you get those flag bearers. So make sure to download the submod. No one, you aren't no one. Holy cow, just uploaded Napoleon Total War a couple of days ago. However, this mod looks super interesting. Yes, make sure to download the mod. Make sure to download the submod. The submod is standalone from the regular mod. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your support, man. Optimus, did the sounds change? Sounds different. Yes, the sounds have changed. In fact, they are uploaded right now. The mod version you will download has been updated to have the updated sound effects added in by my partner Hunter. So go check that out. Go download the mod. Go rate it on ModDB. We got Donovan. You're saying, man, the cinematic intro in the beginning though. So thank you guys very much. I do try and get some cinematic intros for you guys to get you all hyped for the battles coming up. And again, thank you so much for you guys commenting and supporting the channel. If you guys want to know how you can help me, the best way you can actually help this channel is to like it, to not even the comment, yes, but to share it, guys. It's so important to share this to your buddies, not for views or whatever, but the submod. If you get this out to people and go, holy crap, there's a YouTuber, he's making videos about this submod, and this submod is so niche, but it's cool because it needs to get out there. Because right now we're very much, you know, word of mouth. Not a whole lot of people know about us. We just recently went up on ModDB. We've been operating in the background trying to get out these kinks. Let's promote this mod as much as we can. Let's get the community growing. And I mean, the community we already have is active right now. So, and again, you guys supporting this is doing. You guys are doing the best you can. Again, make sure to share this around with your buddies. Get the word out that this submod is out there, and this channel's out there supporting this submod. So make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the battle. What is up, guys, and welcome back to yet again another Visualize Stream Lore video. Today we have yet again another ACW hardcore submod replay. Today we have a 4v4 on the Wilderness. For those who don't know, the Wilderness was the first battle Lee and Grant fought major army-wise against each other, and it was the first battle of Grant's Overland campaign, ending in a Confederate victory. But here today we're going to see if the Army of the Potomac can switch sides, switch history around, and see if they can beat the rebels back into Richmond. So today we have a 4v4 for you guys, and I'm really excited to show it off. Again, we're playing on the hardcore submods, the submod being developed by myself and a good friend Hunter on the Discord. If you guys want to find multiplayer mods, multiplayer games, if you want a better mod for Civil War in general, make it more realistic, make it awesome like you see here, make sure to download the mod. It's up on ModDB. Again, we have the Discord, we have everything. If you want to find games, we have an active community. Come join us, and again, bask in the glory of these battles and battles like this. So first, I'm going to go ahead and go through the army comps. Right now, you can see on the minimap, the Union Army is moving up their artillery. I'm going to go through the army comps as quick as I can. Alright, starting off with left to right, we have the Army of the Cumberland bringing two 4-gun, 3-inch batteries. He's also bringing leading elements of volunteer infantry, 4, 5, 6, looks like 6, 7, 8, 9 volunteer infantry, followed behind. And volunteer is just your standard infantry, nothing special. And then behind them, that's going to form the majority of his meat grinder army. And then as his elites, he has the Union veteran infantry, 2 of them, and it looks like that's it. He should have one more around here. Nope, looks like that is it. Alright, looks like his only 2 star units are the Union veteran infantry. Star units provide morale support like a general does, without being able to rally or inspire like a general does. Just has a 21st Ohio with their repeating rifles, should be pretty deadly. He also has 2 units of the regular infantry, and a Zouave infantry unit. Get a close up on that Zouave. Very cool. And these guys are just your standard elites, but they're not star units. Again, you're limited to 3 star units max per army. At least that's how we play multiplayer wise. Ooh, you see some awesome shots going off there in the front. Alright, artillery from 1st Corps. Bringing, sorry, I forgot. Cumberland is being commanded by E. Thank You off our Discord community. We also have Pujic from our Discord community bringing a 4-gun Cooper's battery. And, ooh, good shot right there, taking out 3 of his cannon crew. But he also has a 3-inch 4-gun battery as well. Following up, his army's following up the road behind him. He has some leading elements of Union, early war, and mid-war cavalry to protect his guns. He did not bring a special general. Did Cumberland bring a special general? I cannot remember. They did. They brought General Grant himself. He is here to fight General Lee. Wow, that's cool. General Grant himself is on the field. Alright, let's see here. We also have leading elements of the Iron Brigade. He has 3 units of these. These are the 1st Corps star units. He brought 3 of them. Again, they are the best unit in the game besides the Stonewall Brigade. Of course, they provide that morale effect. He brought, looks like, a unit of Bucktails, which are elite. A little less elite than the Iron Brigade, but they are not stars. He's brought some volunteers, some state militia there. Some more volunteer, state militia in the back. And he also has some of his elements on the other side of the road here, the other road coming up, which are volunteer, and volunteer. Surprise. Alright, and then now we're going to go ahead and go on the 5th Corps here. Again, I'm trying to get this done as fast as possible. The battle is ringing off. You have artillery batteries opening up on both sides of the field. You see these shots ringing off. Did they get anybody here? Ooh, just barely missing that Army of the Tennessee's 3 inches there being shot at by the Union artillery. Again, 1st Corps is being led by Pujic. Alright, bringing 3rd Corps, we have... Ooh, is that me? That's me. I'm not in the right order. 5th Corps. 5th Corps brought 2 skirmishers and a sharpshooter unit along with 2 4-gun 10-pound batteries. Your 4-gun 10-pound batteries are the best. They're best counter battery in the game. They will wreck anything in their path. He also brought 2 Union mid-war cavalry. Following up the road behind me, he has some Crawford's division, 44th New York right here. We have the 155th Pennsylvania. Who we have it behind this? Who we have behind this? We have the 146th New York. It's kind of a cluster F right here. Got Ayers division. We got Union veteran, which is a star unit, Crawford's. Again, 146th New York. He has a 13th Pennsylvania Bucktail units, which are wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. They're like the 21st Ohio, except they're a Bucktail unit with, again, those repeater rifles. We also have the 20th Maine in here, ready to hold the flank. We have the 5th New York Drury's Zouaves, which again are one of the star units I was talking about. He has 3 volunteer infantry behind here, followed by again another volunteer infantry. His general is just a standard Union general. Commanding the far right flank for the Union Army, we have the Union 3rd Corps. Is 3rd Corps general around here somewhere? Can't remember if it is. It is. So General Humphreys here is on the field commanding the 3rd Corps. And bringing the 3rd Corps is yourself, 5th Corps. Let me get that first. 5th Corps is being commanded by Dark Chieftain. And now 3rd Corps is being commanded by yourselves truly, your own truly, your boy, Colefront. What's up? How you doing? So it's going to be bringing the 74th New York, the 114th Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry, the 9th New York Volunteer Infantry, the 73rd New York Volunteer Infantry, a lot of New York. We're going to have the Excelsiors Brigade, 2 units of that. We're going to have the 70th Pennsylvania in New York and the 72nd New York. And is anybody behind that? I think that is it. Then leading the second element of the 3rd Corps, we have the 63rd and 68th Volunteer Infantry. We have the Union Veteran Infantry, one of my star units, 2 of those guys. And then in the very back, we have the 23rd Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry. And it looks like that is it for my army. I think I do have a leading cav element. I do. It's up here. It is just your standard mid-war cavalry. And then my batteries are split in 2, kind of. I have a 3-inch 4-gun over here. And I have a 12-pounder hanging out in the back here waiting to be deployed. And now I'll try to do my best to get into the Confederate Army comps as they come into field. Obviously, we have a fog of war going, so I won't be able to show everything. But it looks like we have 2nd Corps here. 2nd Corps here is being commanded by, I believe, Husky. Yes, being commanded by Husky. 69th North Carolina Husky. He has a 3rd Alabama, 14th New York. He's got the Gordon's Brigade, which is an elite. He's got the Montgomery True Blues. He's got the Baldwin Blues, which have arguably the best uniform in the game. I mean, how can you beat that? Such a good looking uniform. And 2nd Corps is bringing Thomas Jackson himself, risen from the grave from earlier at dying at Chancellorsville, a couple days after the Battle of Chancellorsville. He's back for the Overland Campaign. Took a seat for the Gettysburg or Pennsylvania campaign. Has come back. Looks like I have 2 early wars for 2nd Corps, and it looks like that's all I can see for 2nd Corps for the time. 3rd Corps is being led by Anderson, and Anderson is bringing 2 4-gun 3-inch batteries. He has a leading army. His army is being made up of the Greg's Brigade, which is one of his star units. There's another Greg's Brigade, and there should be a 26th North Carolina. There it is. Those are the 3 star units, 2 Greg's Brigade and a 26th North Carolina. Some Independent Blues, again a contestant for one of the best uniforms in the game. We have Anderson's division, his own division being on the field today. We have Archer's Brigade here. Again, Anderson's division, Heath's division. Of course, Heath being the first one engaged at Gettysburg. It was just standard cavalry, so then it turned into a scrap. Horrible accents. Anyways. Then we have in the center, we have 3rd Corps is being led by Joseph off our Discord, who came over from NTW3 to play with us. So if you see him playing a little blocky because he's used to NTW3, they try to straighten him out the best we can. You'll see it throughout the battle. He corrects himself. Leading the center, we have that other submod developer other than myself I was talking about, Rose Hunter himself. He has leading elements of the Claiborne's division, Breckenridge division. Okay, and then on this side of the field, he's a little spread out. He has elements of the McCowan's division, 10th Tennessee, and the 1st Kentucky Orphan Brigade are over here. And the 1st Kentucky Orphan Brigade is a super elite unit. You gotta watch out for the guys if your opponent's bringing the Army of Tennessee. It also has the Jasper Greens, bring some Confederate Irish onto the field. There's another one of those 1st Kentucky. The 1st Kentucky Orphan Brigades are the star units for, other than if you see Claiborne's Brigade, not Claiborne's Division, that's the other star unit for the Army of Tennessee. Anyways, his battery we saw earlier of 3-inch 4-guns that was getting pounded really hard by our guns. He has another battery here again of 3-inch 4-guns that he's bringing up. Looks like 2nd Corps has some batteries over here that we haven't quite been able to reveal yet, but it looks like it's 2 4-gun batteries at 3 inches. And the Army of the Cumberland Army of Tennessee is bringing a standard Confederate general. So far we have Thomas Jackson Anderson on this side of the field. We have Grant Humphreys on the other side of the field, on my side of the field. Bringing a unique army, not usually brought, is Fearless Hussar. Fearless Hussar is bringing the Zouave army. The Zouave army is a fictitious faction, a fictitious army made up of all the Zouave units for the Confederacy in the game. There's also a Zouave army for the opposing Union side too. And he decided to bring the Zouave army for the Confederates. He has a 4-gun, 3-inch battery over here for some counter battery. And it looks like he has the 14th North Carolina. He has the 1st Maryland. He has the 1st Louisiana Battalion. The 5th Georgia, Company A. Clinched rifles. He has the Irish Jasper Greens. 11th Mississippi University Grays. He has the Selma Independent Blues. And then he also has, what's that unit? Thomasville Zouaves, which are Georgian units. He has the 3rd Alabama, 3rd Mississippi, 6th North Carolina, Wheats Battalion, which is another Louisiana unit. He has the 10th Tennessee Irish back here. That's all we can see for now. I know he has leading elements of a 13th Pennsylvania Reserve, which is, I think this is it. No, this is his 2 early war cav he brought. He does have a 13th Pennsylvania Reserve, which is a detachment from the 13th Pennsylvania. Excuse me, not 13th Pennsylvania. The 11th Mississippi Reserves, and those are essentially an elite a sharpshooter unit with Colt repeating rifles for the Confederacy Zouave Army. This is my cavalry unit up here mid-war is being hammered by the opposing 2nd Corps batteries and soon to be the Zouave Army battery. So I'm going to go back into regular time now and view it now that we've got the army comps over with. We're going to get into this. So it looks like here we have several points here on the field. And with Wilderness, we're playing the B map. So this here would be the original, the Union would be spawning over here and the Confederacy would be over here. These would be the standard deployments for these 2 armies. Since we're playing a B map, a feature added into the submod, we are now playing on a perpendicular attack pattern, I guess you can say, onto the normal scale or the normal perspective you usually fight this battle on. B maps allow you to attack the same map but from a different way, a different angle, and again it's all about replayability. That's what we're doing here today. The way this works out, we have a 1 point over here, I think a 1 point right here, a 2, a 3 in the center, and then we have a 2, 1, 1 here. So essentially, if we have 2 and a 1, 1, and they have a 2 and a 1, 1, and a 3, it really becomes a battle over that 3 in the center. Because we couldn't just push forward and take this one, because they still outnumber us. We'd have a 6 to a 6, it would be a tie. So in order to force a victory, somebody has to take this 3 in the center. Or we have to wrap both 1s on the sides for one army, which is a hard task to do considering the massive scale and numbers we have on this field. So but it looks like they are gonna move up to protect their 1s equally. The Confederacy has to move a little farther to this one here to protect it, but they're moving up to protect that one, and we automatically start with a 1, and then the 1 back here is pretty easy. We just move forward through it and we got it. Looks like the 1st Corps will be deploying in the center along with the 5th Corps, me on the flank, and then E-Thank you on the left flank here, the Cumberland going rather wide, protecting this major road going down the center. Who is routing where? Looks like my 3rd Corps skirmishers are being routed off by Confederate cavalry, but to attack this position is almost suicide. There's infantry on the field to protect his artillery, and they are going to be taking quite a bit of fire from artillery here soon. Oh, you see the blood splitting there. You hear the shots ripping through his cavalry unit. They need to get out there. They are not protected. They have almost lost 50% of their unit so far. Yeah, they're taking fire from this volunteer infantry over there. He does have some local skirmisher support. He's going to move up to try and protect this wood line. If they can take this wood line, this would be huge. The analogy I always use to explain how wood lines help you in this submod is that if you're in the, say if you were in the open field and take a volley, your regiment would lose 3 men. If you're in the woods, you would only lose 1 of those 3 men. So you can literally hold off almost 3 times your number if you're in the woods. So taking wood lines is super important. It looks like they're going to be moving up the skirmishers and sharpshooters for that very purpose. 3rd Corps just moving beyond this wood line, almost into the range of 1st Corps over there in that river cut. Looks like they're going to be moving back into the woods again. You see them starting to spread out now. And like I said, the woods, 5th Corps will be taking these woods in the center. I think they'll be using these woods here to advance onto the 3-point here the best they can. But a lot of these roads here and these conversions with all the creeks here make the terrain rather impassable and awkward to fight upon. So it's going to be weird having to fight over this 3, but we'll see how it ends up. And there's those the 11th Mississippi Reserve units who are firing off there. Very cool. Yeah, they're fighting off against the Union mid-war here. That's actually taking some more damage, but my army's starting to arrive on the field. You see the Alexis Brigade coming down the road, and then it looks like we have the 73rd New York splitting off to the left. I'm gonna straddle these buildings here essentially. So this is the game pieces are set up. We have 2nd Corps opposing Cumberland. We have 3rd Corps opposing 1st Corps. We have Cumberland opposing 5th, and I opposing the Confederate Zouave army. So we'll have to see how it turns out. Looks like initial battles erupting in the center here with the volunteer infantry from 1st Corps supported by skirmishers scanning or guiding their attack. And it looks like 3rd Corps will be opening up. There's some weird terrain going on here, so it's not like a lot of the soldiers have good sight on each other, especially with these tall grass are coming through here. They should be returning fire here. Actually, the Army of Tennessee has some skirmishers all the way on this side of the field. Again, the Army of Tennessee goes, oh, and there one goes right there. I hear the men yelling. With the submod comes also a sound overhaul, so you'll see some different. You hear some different bullet noises, hitting noises. Ooh, shit! These guys are getting. Ooh, God! Oh my God! That is not good. These are pretty hard. We're still in. The 3rd Corps just behind them. Man, took quite a bit of hit, quite a big hit on that one. The shell erupted right in the center. There was another one, 6 down and out of that artillery shell. I mean, this Union artillery position is rather daunting, what they're firing off here against. I mean, it's gonna be a hard position for them to take. Ooh. Did they get the battery too? Or no, 3 men though in 1 hit from the Cooper's battery. They are 1 gun down, and now they're 17 out of 24 men. These guys might be routing here soon. There they go, like I just said. It looks like the Confederate have been putting up quite a bit of counter battery, which is rather hard considering the massive gun superiority the Union usually has over the Confederacy. This is one of my guns over here supporting this position. So it looks like 1st Corps has moved up to this wood line, but 3rd Corps is responding in kind to try and push them off again. 1st Corps realizing he can't get into a point-blank shot against people in the woods. Looks like 1st Corps will be pulling back from that attack. However, they are leading quite the big attack here in the center, being supported by Archer's Brigade. But it looks like 3rd Corps is not wasting any time. He's going to move up his late war and early war cavalry to try and remove these skirmishers out of his way. Oh, what a charge. Confederate charge in the center. Holy crap. Yeah, my cavalry gets ripped up here, but you see, oh my God. He's getting just ripped up in front of this infantry. Cavalry cannot take on formed infantry, but they can take out and protect the skirmishers. And although he did take out the skirmishers, he probably loses cavalry. Yep, he lost both cavalry units in return for taking out the skirmishers. Was it worth it? I would say it's a pretty good trade there. Ooh, dang. I would say it's a pretty good trade there. Skirmishers out in front of your infantry can help soak up some of the enemy fire. So in terms of winning the gunfight, that was a really good move. In terms of the long-range fight, I don't know. You could probably pull your infantry back to the woods and win this. Ooh, good volleys ripping off on here. I would say it's a good 1-for-1 trade there. Looks like 2nd Corps arriving here on the far right. Louisiana Tigers. I don't think we saw this before. 2 units of Louisiana Tigers coming into action. 2nd Maryland, my boy 2nd Maryland. Anderson leading up his leading columns against the Cumberland regular infantry and volunteer infantry here. On the far left, it looks like Cumberland was able to protect the backfield with his infantry, but it looks like there is a strong Confederate cavalry presence in the woods over here. We'll have to watch out for that. Looks like the battles are raging all along the lines. 3rd Corps is pushed out towards the center on the 3 to help have a commanding presence on the front. Oh God, his Gregs have been ripped up, absolutely ripped up, because they are going up against the Iron Brigade, and that's just not good. And losing that unit means losing that morale support there in the center too. It looks like the Selma Independent Blues took quite a bit of damage on this advance also. Again, they attacked a wood line, which is just never the right thing to do. They're pulling out this Greg's Brigade before they lose too much, and they've only lost 3, so that's a good move right there. Looks like Tennessee's coming up to help them. Breckinridge's division leading the way with skirmishers out front, and 5th Corps responding with Crawford's division. Good moves again. 3rd Corps and Army of Jasper Greens here getting into combat against, it looks like, some volunteer infantry. Not a whole lot happening on this flank. Big battles going off in the woods. Holy crap. Those skirmishers and the Army of Tennessee skirmishers are still holding on. Good God. These guys are really brave. I mean, they're taking over 50% casualties. At this point, 75% casualties almost, and they are still holding on. And due to overwhelming artillery fire, it looks like Confederate 3rd Corps will be retreating into the wood line, which I think is the move. So right now, if they stay in this wood line and stay on this position here, they can't move up onto this road. They've already proven because they'll lose too many men. I mean, that's all Greg's Brigade. That's South Carolinians right there. Those are the Selma Independent Blues we saw earlier. That's where they ended up. They've proven they cannot come a straight line onto the 3, but technically if they protest this, this is a contested 3 and it counts for nobody. So right now it is a dead even tie on the map. Looks like we have some of the early war Zouave Army, it's called by the Confederates. Zouave Army extending a little further left to meet up with my lines. I am able to get my 114th Pennsylvania helping out a little bit. Crawford's division attacking. What seems to be a Breckinridge's division here is up front. Elements of Breckinridge's and Claiborne's division. And here's the Jaspers and the Orphans in the back, supported by 10th Tennessee Irish. Looks like 3rd Corps, knowing that nobody's going to push for the center, looks like he's going to be shifting some of his reserves around towards his right flank. And in kind, 1st Corps looks like it'll be shifting some more men here to the center. I think they realize they can use this wood here, this wood line here to help support their attack. Actually, this Breckinridge here in the center is holding out very well. They're in this really weird position with their unit, but they're holding up extremely well. Some of these guys don't even have a shot, but some of them do. Looks like they're going off against the Strong Vincent's Brigade and Iron Brigade from the 1st Corps. Again, they're putting up quite the fight here in the center. Not losing too many men so far, but dealing back in return plenty of damage. Yeah, holy crap, yeah, plenty of damage. Taking quite a bit of damage. I mean, each one of them taking maybe 10 to 15, 20 casualties on most, but they're inflicting hundreds of casualties on the enemy, which is superior in any right. 13th Pennsylvania Reserve Bucktails coming up in light infantry formation, getting ready to win the day. And it looks like my help from the 114th Pennsylvania, you see, is helping take out a little more of this left leading Breckinridge's division. Irish Brigade and the 1st Kentucky Orphans come up to support this attack. Looks like there's some elements of the Army of Tennessee all the way off here to the right behind 3rd Corps protecting them. Looks like it's elements of Claiborne's division. So 3 Claiborne's division, 3 Breckinridge's division on the field. 1 Claiborne is engaged on the main line and 2 over here in reserve behind 3rd Corps. Looks like 1st Corps will be pushing again from a different angle. First he pushed parallel to the road. Now he's pushing a little slanted or perpendicular to the road, trying to attack this wood line from a different angle. He's got to try and contest this 3 even more, and in the end manipulate to where we can take the 3. Otherwise the job will fall onto the men on the flanks. Battle erupting all along this main road, all down the line, volunteer, etc. With the Louisiana Tigers, and where the cav was, they scouted out the way for the Baldwin Blues and the 14th North Carolina. Ooh, there's one more unit in there. 3rd Alabama. Way here on the far right, and Cumberland is returning and answering with some volunteer. Although the point that Cumberland is protecting in unison with 1st Corps essentially is this 2 here. So being out of the way to here, we're not protecting any points back here in these woods. So it's gonna be a weird fighting for that when the real battle's toward their left flank, not their right. Looks like a 3rd Corps moving up to try and get some more direct fire on the Louisiana and 1st Maryland Battalion, along with those Jasper Greens we saw earlier. 13th Volunteer still holding. Awesome gun noises going off in the back. And really 3rd Corps and Confederate Zouave Army in a standoff. Let me see, who we got running here? Looks like we have the unit, well, my 12-pounder 4-gun battery moving into position to try and get some round shot off onto this hill here. I think Tennessee realized they had a good position here. Now they're moving up some men onto this flank. Ooh, yeah, Breckinridge is now down to 141. Taking a lot of damage from that 114th Pennsylvania combined. In fact, they're doing some overhead fire. Ooh, you saw that devastating 3-man volley there. 2 Crawford's division had moved up, supported by Ayer's division and the 114th Pennsylvania, firing over the heads of his men. Breckinridge is taking a lot of damage. 414th New York moving up into the fight. First Corps moving up well into the center, almost engulfing the 3 at this point. Bucktails, ooh, taking some good fire into Breckinridge's division, but the Breckinridge's right element is returning fire in time. You have the Claiborne's division that was in support of 3rd Corps, helping take on some of the Iron Brigade. I think the rest of the Iron Brigade is in reserve. And you can see here, now that they're in the woods, their numbers haven't changed too much. That's because they're ripping up these guys in the open field. But when these guys move away, we'll see a big line here, and then they will not have dealt nearly as much damage. In fact, you see they form kind of a J position here, using this wood line to the maximum advantage trying to attack. It looks like, holy crap. Taking a lot of damage in this leading wood line here because he's trying to oppose the regular infantry, which are elite coming from Cumberland. It looks like we have some canister fire and some shrapnel fire coming overhead of these men. Yep, look at that. Yep, shrapnel fire hitting these lines dead on. Looks like we have the Archers Brigade and ripped up with artillery fire from this opposing hill. Ooh, you hear ringing overhead. Yeah, you see this 3rd Corps 4-gun battery. Ooh, there you go, the blood spilling. That is the devastating fire from the shrapnel just ringing over the heads of those men. Yep, there you go. It's hitting really hard right here. You see them falling by the wayside. Looks like 1st Corps' attack starting to waver a little bit. You see the line starting to thin out. Not too bad, but not too good either. Breckinridge, who was in a great position before, now taking quite a bit of damage. You see a lot of the occurring casualties lying on the ground being supported by Anderson behind. What's Grant up to? Where is good old Grant? Grant's in the woods here, commanding his men on the front line. How typical. Oh, there's that Confederate cavalry we were talking about earlier. What is this? Confederate mid-war cavalry firing onto the flank of these volunteers who are now retreating again. I told you. Cumberland doesn't have a whole lot to defend over here, so if they're trying to push him hard, he can just keep kiting this enemy back and using up the enemy's resources to keep pushing a flank that essentially doesn't matter. My 3rd Corps Humphrey's still here in the back. It looks like my skirmishers almost off the field at this point. So we got some shots ringing off from this 12-pound Napoleon gun. Ooh, ringing right into the back there, right through this unit of Tennessee. Taking their first deaths here. 3 men on the 12-pounder. These 12-pound Napoleons, their round shot will bounce, and the damage will continue through all the lines it can hit. So having double lines like this is good for putting maximum firepower and concentrated forces onto your enemy. But it's meant to. These round shots are meant to hit lines like that. It looks like to replace where the Breckinridge division was, the Weeks Battalion moved up, letting her fire from the 12-pounder. Looks like they took some damage here from that 114th Pennsylvania. They're pulling back after suffering about 18 casualties. All right, 17 casualties there. No casualties yet for the 3rd Mississippi, but the army of the Confederate Zouave army has moved up, and again, here you have a situation where the 12-pounders are good to attack, firing 6 shots overhead, taking out quite a bit of these 6th North Carolina. Looks like a lot of the fire is focused on that. Then we got fire in here. We got 70 and 73rd New York. We have the Excelsior's Brigade. We have 114th Pennsylvania. We got 74th New York and 9th New York. It's pretty much all in New York holding this, except for that one Pennsylvania unit. Pretty much all in New York on this line here, fighting off against North Carolina, Mississippi, and Alabama. It looks like after you see the absolute devastation Breckinridge took on Breckinridge and the Claiborne division took holding this hill here. And you see just the massive amount of fire put onto it by the opposing Union forces. And now the Union forces, with protection of this ground, are trying to cross this bad creek bed here to advance onto the Confederate army of Tennessee, which is regrouping behind this to rise these Union men cross this hill. It looks like the Army of Tennessee is ready to open up onto them, double ranked onto essentially where they were dying before. They're ready to return the favor, as one might put it. Yeah, you can see that Breckinridge division was in that really nice position earlier. That's the whole unit right there, just dead on the field, fighting off against the volunteer. They did return some fire to, and the Bucktail Brigade, but Bucktail and the Iron are just absolutely devastating units in terms of what they can inflicting casualties. Looks like over here we have the Union mid-war. It looks like, unbeknownst to the... Oh, that's a large concentration of 2nd Corps Cavalry. Mid-war, and mid-war. 3 mid-war units. That is 150 cav units coming on to only 55 mid-war units, who aren't even returning fire. I don't believe they know. Oh, there they go. They returned some fire. They're massively outnumbered. And yeah, they're taking casualties pretty bad. As the Union is relieving this flank to 2nd Corps, who's Baldwin Blues, 14th North Carolina, and Stonewall Brigade. There you go, Stonewall Brigade. He should have 3 of those leading the way. Looks like Alabama's in reserve. So again, that I told you, this land back here, he gave it up because there's nothing protecting it. This is what he needs to protect right here. We have to stop soon to turn around because he can't give too much ground. But Grant, very unlike Grant, is relieving ground and playing smart, and not just throwing his men to the slaughter. Brave or not. Anderson's division and Greg's brigade back on this side of the field. It looks like the Union is gonna. It looks like this Crawford's division moved just onto the road just before the fire from these men. Just before again where those Breckinridge's and Clayborne's division were. Anderson's and Greg brigade. Alright, 5th Corps moving up onto the main road. Very, very exposed here, but they are making bold moves. 1st Corps Iron Brigade Reserve coming up. And 5th Corps 155th Pennsylvania and Vincent's brigade here coming up to support. It looks like we're going to be replacing that volunteer who's taking the damage on the advance with the replenished or the rallied Iron Brigade to be able to get some volleys off. Yep, trying to rearrange his men on this road again. I told you this is very weird and bad terrain here with all these that it's going to be hard to maneuver with all those creeks. It looks like in return to that advance, Army of Tennessee will be moving up to replace 3rd Corps. And we're moving up to push them back off this road junction, which is critical here. We're taking this 3. If you take this road junction and get a foothold in this woods here, you've taken the 3. But again, doing that would be hard. So the Union is taking the first steps in doing that in Confederacy. Will look like we're trying to draw us into a enfiladed fire position from this hill, these woods, against this, essentially this position here. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Cumberland over here holding very strong. Good playing by Cumberland over here. Has turned around and now forced the enemy into quite a weird position. Actually, he looks like he has a volunteer in this weird slump. He's actually he's actually holding a hill. He's actually holding this nice little hill, as you can see here. He is up here on this hill, and looks like the Gordon's brigade has a bit of a bigger fight in hand than he thought he would. Using this hill, again, really smart playing actually by Cumberland. I didn't think he was holding the hill over here. Oh, it's just woods. He's holding a wooded hill position, one of the hardest things to take in this game. I think Grant's going to be playing it smart this time around. Looks like we have the Union 5th Corps Cavalry being redeployed to the left side of the field in response to Cumberland's cavalry being driven off, who have actually routed back onto the field with 32 men. They're trying to fight back against the Confederate mid-war. Who are taking some damage actually in return. They have 2 units at 33 and 32 versus a 32. And they have a 55, it looked like, coming over. And 1st Corps also sending over their cavalry. So cavalry reinforcements on the way to the left flank. The post 2nd Corps' massive cavalry. How are the units doing over here? Archer Brigade looks like replacing some of the earlier Confederate dead. Ooh, that Confederate early war cavalry from before charged these guns, it looks like back here. Can he make it? You see that shrapnel shot coming right through the cannon. Can he make it? Ooh! big damage onto that. You saw these deleted those units here. Oh, and almost made it behind to take out some of these 3 inches. Let's say these regular infantry regiment took the damage to protect against him trying to shoot the 3-inch foregun. Valiant charge from the Confederate 3rd Corps Cavalry, who already got routed before in a major melee action over here. Came back again to try and take out those guns that were canister. You can just see how much damage this canister is inflicting onto the East Division and the Archer Brigade. Absolutely devastating. Looks like they pulled back a little bit from the road, taking a lot of damage on the road, having to pull back a little bit just to reorganize. See if some elements of the line leading up here or what, some are lagging behind in these weird spots. Again, it kind of turned into a stalemate over here. One won't push over the hill. Again, there's no points being specifically fought for here. They can technically contest this point and hold this point by not having to be up on this hill. And the Union players don't want to come over this hill because they'll come into opposing fire. So it's really a standoff on who's going to do it first or who's going to wait out the other person. And it looks like the Confederates have, I think, a 3-inch foregun back here, and it looks like a 24-pound howitzer back there that is shooting down to those 114 shots remaining. That is definitely a howitzer firing back there from the Confederate Zouave, that 114 Pennsylvania. Looks like the Ayers Division and 20th Maine themselves have moved up. Looks like with them moving up, Tennessee will answer. Some good volleys coming off from the Iron Brigade there. 2 units of the Iron Brigade firing off. One at 213 that we saw earlier being replaced by the Volunteer, and one fresh being protected by these skirmishers at 249 it looks like. Again, you think this is a pretty bad situation here for this East Anderson division, but you see they're not taking a lot of damage again just because they're in the woods here. They're far away in the woods, and that's just hard to take out. Again, it looks like the Confederacy backed off for this. Essentially, in order to attack this hill, he has to come through a valley right here. Looks like he was not with it, and he backed off. Stalemate. Oh, there's a big push from Tennessee. You get the Irish Jasper Greens, Kentucky 1st Orphan Brigade, the McCowan's Division. Gonna get some big shots on the here. Ooh, Jesus Christ! So many men dead there. They're gonna answer. Oh my God, they are falling apart. They easily just lost 20%, 15 to 20% of their unit in one volley. Excuse me. You see the men just crawling and turning on the ground in pain. Are they gonna return fire? Come on, 20th. Come on, Ayers. Return fire. There they go. And it looked like just before they returned fire, the Confederacy retreat down the hill. They popped up just to get that volley, and before they could get hit back, they ran back down the hill. Good tactic there. Required a lot of micro, and they pulled it off successfully. Now they're not going to get hit because they're just under that ridge there. They pulled just up far enough to shoot them, and ran back down. They took out 15% of that enemy unit for free, essentially. Pulled a sneaky on that 5th Corps. 1st Corps looked like pulling back. Majority of his left flank that was getting torn up right here. Back again, I'm telling you, these woods are dangerous in this game. And Grant holding this hill. Man, this is such a beautiful position, Cumberland. Good playing. Holding this hill like this. Such a beautiful position. I wouldn't want to attack this. This is almost an impossible place to attack. I mean, it could, but it'd be hard. Ooh, cavalry in the background. That cavalry reinforcements arrived. We got into a big cav battle. Oh, I missed it. I missed it because of Tennessee doing their push. Looks like the early war reinforcements from 5th Corps and 1st Corps were enough to drive off the Confederate cavalry. 6 units left remaining in that unit. A lot of cavalry dead on this field over here. Nice cav action happening on the flanks. So the Union initially threatened. The Union will be safe on their flanks from the cavalry. And oh my God, look at this battery. This 10-pound battery got torn up. Torn up. No men left to man these batteries. They have all sacrificed their lives to protect town. That's a shame. These 10-pounder Parrots are silenced for the rest of the day. It's a shame. Looks like to replace those losses, I've moved over my 12-pound Napoleon smoothbore 4-gun battery to try and respond. Again, it looks like, you can have the artillery advantage, but if you don't shoot back at the enemy counter battery and he's shooting at you the whole time, eventually he's going to get you. So you got to win the artillery battle first. That's a good lesson. Win the artillery battle first before you start turning artillery towards the infantry. But it looks like over here back on this side of the field, Cumberland's batteries and my battery is holding still very strong. In this woodline, they've actually had to pull back to what seems to be another little hill up here. They had to pull back due to the canister fire. The battle rages on here. 115th Pennsylvania. 155th, excuse me, I have the 115th. This is the 155th Pennsylvania on the far left. 4 Union 5th Corps skirmishers getting torn up on this hill up here. Again, turning essentially into a standstill. Nobody can push forward. I pity anybody who lived in these houses, because the amount of damage and bullet holes that would be in these houses would be unrepairable. Just over this house, we have the Tennessee Army waiting to open fire. Alright, so I'm going to cut until we have another major action. We're both in kind of a standoff. The battle here is raging pretty hard. The volunteer taking quite a bit of damage, but again, no major actions are happening right now. When that guy dies, he'll just be replaced by another, and so on and so on. So we'll cut back into where, ooh, something might be happening here, to when we have another major. Alright boys, and we are back. So the only thing that happened is that 2nd Corps re-engaged Grant's Corps over here coming through the valley. You got the Louisiana Tigers here coming up into the valley, but he's focusing his attack more on the level ground closer towards the battery, but we can't quite use the batteries against it because we were shooting through our own men. The 3rd Corps did come out here and suffered very minimal casualties on a frontal assault, but 1st Corps is going to take the advantage to try and return the favor. And while he's reorganizing his men, try and form a coordinated attack against these woodlines. As you see, again, the push from 3rd Corps wasn't bad, and it didn't take many casualties for him, but while he was reorganizing, 1st Corps did a counterattack just at the precise time, and none of them turned around and ready to fire, so he can get a lot of damage off, for example, on this Selma Independent Blues in the 26th North Carolina while they are not returning fire. It looks like during that time also 5th Corps pulled back a little bit from here. You see they took a lot of damage all around here. Tennessee still fighting over here in the center. Everybody's very tired just from shooting. And again, 1st Corps doing a major action across this field. He first tried to take at the very beginning of the game. He's going across it right now. You see a lot of this corn where tall grass was cut down just from infantry fire. And a lot of men dying, but again, a good coordinated attack. This just might work. Iron Brigade's going to help support it. Taking a lot of damage. That's that East Division returning.
Our men are running.
So you got 1 or 2 units on the far right, but nothing's happening over there. Returning the fire again, not a whole lot dying, but again, the woods do make that difference, like I said before, but the closer you get, the less that matters. You see gunshots cutting down this grass and all the bullets coming down this grass. This is absolutely horrific. Iron Brigade dead. Oh! Archers Brigade getting destroyed. Not only are they very tired, but they're now down to only 90 men. It looks like Anderson's division is trying to come out a little bit to get some inflated fire, but right as they come out, again, 1st Corps with a dedicated push, like I said, dedicated push support. Anderson has to come back. He can't attack this weak volunteer here. And this volunteer regiment supported by the rest of the Iron Brigade is going to come over this field and try and take it. Tennessee is maneuvering some of his weaker units to this side of the field so he can leave the pressure off of those main bigger units so they can return some fire into the Iron Brigade. Again, looks like a dedicated attack in the center from 5th Corps is even moving up to support this attack on the woodline. And they've actually gotten a foothold in this woodline with using some state militia, some cannon fodder. Again, not a whole lot of, I mean, the defense was not ready because he counterattacked right as he's reorganizing. However, 3rd Corps is helping the attack a little bit here on the right with 2nd Corps. 2nd Corps coming through the valley very strong. They're starting to rip apart the Cumberland Army. In fact, it looks like we have the 6th North Carolina on the far right taking on these WAF infantry here. Good attack from 2nd Corps. Nothing wavering yet on Cumberland, but Cumberland can break any time because 2nd Corps is still very fresh and elite. And 3rd Corps just that counterattack at the perfect time. Great playing by Puget, but 1st Corps getting great playing by Thank You or the Army of the Cumberland. 5th Corps going to crest the hill. The Forsaken Hill that everybody's been dying on. 5th Corps is going to crest it. Because actually there's not a whole lot of time left. There's only 10 minutes on the dot remaining. And this is still technically a little bit contested, but if we can hold this exact position here, a little more further up where Puget is, 1st Corps, meet the line here, that is a win. Right now, there's technically a win for the Union. They just need to hold this ground, but this is the deadliest ground again on the map to hold. And support attack from Gregg's Brigade, Star Units, Breckinridge's division, 1st Kentucky Orphan Brigades, and Anderson's division again, and Cleburne's divisions. Holding this strong, and the Union is just cresting this hill. And there's the Ayers division, I believe, from the fort. Yeah, this is the exact Ayers division from before that was here that got hit with those point blanks. They are eager to return favor. Oh God, the flags, their standard just went down along with their officer. This poor Ayers division has taken such a huge hit. Please return the favor. Return the favor, come on. Return the favor. Return the favor, there you go. But this is a good position. See, Irish Jaspers can just barely fire over this ridge at them. Meanwhile, for them to hit them is a lot harder. They pretty much have to get headshots. Oh my God! That building, that poor building I told you from earlier has officially fallen down. Oh my gosh. The building has officially fallen down from artillery fire. It looks like from the repositioned Confederate Zouave Army howitzer unit there. Oh, 4 buildings down in the center here. I'm telling you, this is the Forsaken Hill that they are cresting. It looks like I rushed using the roads. Roads in this submod now work. They are very fast. They're an easy way to maneuver your men. Looks like I was able to rush down some of my New York units, my Excelsiors and my 75th and 72nd New York. It looks like I'm going to be trying to push through here because, as you see, they're trying to shift reserves over this side, but again, counterattacks at the right time work. These woods are not quite yet taken, but this is giving us momentum in the center to be able to return the favor. And let's see, Cleburne Brigade, this is one of the star units. This is providing morale for all the units around it. As you see, Tennessee here trying to reposition. Now due to this advance from my units in the center. I don't think they expected my unit to arrive here, but using those roads, I was able to come up very quickly. There you go. Come on, give it to him. Give it to him, 7. Come on. Fire. Oh, there they go. Oh, jeez. You just see this whole unit turn red. And they combine. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. It looks like we have an initial crack in the... Oh, this is just falling apart. Again, dedicated counterattacks. Cumberland over here holding off all 2nd Corps just in time. Looks like he's holding relatively well, actually. Better than I expected, but again... the line is holding all around, but we have taken the 3 with how many minutes left? 6 minutes left. Zouave Army would have to arrive with his entire army to support this attack and rebuttal it. But again, Tennessee's just now getting men over here who are already winded from running. And we'll have to fight back this Bucktail and this my New York units in the front. The Orphans are fighting against. This is a very elite unit, so if this is an elite unit, they can get some good volleys off. Ooh. I mean, this is pretty much as close as it gets, guys. This is some crazy close firing. So 1st Corps is 1st Corps doing a charge. The 1st Corps is moving up the state militia. Oh, and a counter charge from the Gregg's Brigade. They're not. Did they get the volley off? Did they get the volley off? Got the ball just in time to get down the melee. Greg's just routed. Oh, reserve line though. There's that reserve line we were talking about. And they're gonna return that favor. Man, this is I mean, you know when you watch the Civil War movies and it just cuts from clip of men falling, you know, line of men falling down, the clip of them falling down, you know, it's just like, and then another line walks up and they all fall down, and another line walks up and they all fall down, you know. That is literally what's happening here. Alright, they finish them off now trying to return. Regular infantry's elite. It's going to be able to hit the state militia pretty hard. Are they going to charge in to prevent the volley? Or are they trying to get into the woods to see if they can get the wood protection? Oh, return the volley, return the volley. Oh, just somebody in the front. Oh, Jesus. Does he have them all fire at will? Come on, return the volley. I don't think they're returning the volley. Oh, I think just some of the unit is firing here. Yeah, some of the units firing against the state militia here, and the volunteer there. I think oh, it is a full breakthrough. Tennessee's falling back a little bit to try and regroup. Oh, that Breckinridge just came back. And those 73rd New York moving up to, oh, the 73rd New York is shooting the Army of the Tennessee general. This is not technically general sniping. That is fair game. If your general's in infantry fire range, that is a fair shot. And this general is routing, losing over half of his general staff. On what was that, Breckinridge's? Yeah, Breckinridge division broke again. There you go. Now you have the Zouave army coming up to support, but do you have enough time? You only have 3 minutes left. There's a 4-minute countdown essentially to take back this point. At this point, as you can see, we've made such a big bubble in the Confederate line. The Confederate line is extending so far to the left here. Again, look how many units Second Corps has over here. If he didn't have these men here, and he had them over here, they may be able to push us back, but there's no points over here to take. I mean, extending men this far down is just unnecessary. There's no points there for you to take, win or not. These are reserve lines from Tennessee holding strong though. Ooh, those regular brigade routed though. I think these Pennsylvania came up and finished them off. This 3rd Corps that moved up, we have 70th, Excelsiors, and the 73rd Brigade moving up. All getting in the battle here, man. Again, Tennessee holding strong with some elements of what's left of the 3rd Corps. Essentially, 3rd Corps has fallen back even further. Now essentially protecting this road back here. I mean, they have lost the strong presence they had here, right here in the center. And I think that's a wrap. You can see just how much we completely encircle that 3. And Grant isn't following anytime soon with 2.5 minutes left. It looks like that's going to be a wrap, guys. The Zouave army advancing all along the line, but not in time. Is not going to be in time. Wheat's battalion have bucking-balls. 300 men in bucking-ball be able to do a lot of damage. You see they're running away, actually. 5th Corps is running away from the Wheats because they only have 100 range, which extends to about to here. So they have to get really close to fire, but once they get fire, a bucking ball in this game, for every 1 shot, they do 2. So 300 men, essentially, firing 1 volley, you'd be firing technically 600 shots in the game. The equivalent of over 2 regular brigades. This is literally 2.5 units in this game that are elite in 1 unit. And again, it's a juggernaut, but you have to get it close. And if you can't get it close, these guys are going to just sit back and shoot you all day long, and you're just as vulnerable as any other man on earth. Ooh, looks like oh, that's mine. That's my mid-war coming up through the ranks here. Coming around to try and even more flank. This is technically flanking. Yep, Claiborne's routes because he has men in his background technically. And that's a wrap, guys. I mean, that's you now see we have severed it. That cav unit there officially severs it, and that is the breakthrough. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Absolutely beautiful battle. Actually, 1st Corps now starting to take a lot of damage. The reformed line. Anderson is still alive and reformed his line very well. And 1st Corps' attack has faded out. Taking some damage along the line here. I mean, 2nd Corps is dealing more damage to Grant than Grant can deal with 2nd Corps, but still. And it doesn't matter at this point. Neither line will break soon enough. It's over. That is 2, 5, 7 points. Versus their 3. And I told you, all relied on that 3 at the beginning of the video, and there it is. I mean, they're trying to move up this, you know, to secure the fact that they have 3 points, which they will. They have full-on 3 points, but again, there's no point in me, third corps, advancing upon there. We have completely severed the enemy in half. I got cavalry in their background. They're shooting them in the back as they run. Beautiful game. Absolutely beautiful game. "16 seconds left." He's running. Oh, on the far right, yeah. I mean, they could. I mean, they have the point. Again, I'm protecting this 1 point theoretically down here, but it would take them forever to get down there. I mean, they could use the roads, but even then, that would be what, 4 points versus 6 at that point. So, again, it all relied on this 3, and we have completely severed them in half. We got cavalry in the background from early wars from First Corps and everything. And there you go. So the game called it a draw because there's still infantry on the field, and that's how 4v4s will always work out. I don't think you can ever kill the entire enemy force with a 4v4. It's too many men on the field. I mean, what is this almost? I mean, that has to be at least 28,000 men on the field. Absolutely massive. I mean, we're seeing the real divisional scale level fighting here. So let's imagine every unit on the field instead of as a brigade or regiment, but, you know, as a regiment. And this is essentially, you know, several brigades of a division on the field fighting two division fighting each other. That's essentially the scale we have here in this mod, is real one-to-one divisional scale fighting from the Civil War. So Dark Chieftain again bringing the 5th Corps, leading the attack in the center, supported by 1st Corps on his left, and me sending a few units up the road at the last there. He only suffered 1,100 casualties, but dealt 1,200. It's almost a 1-for-1. A lot of Civil War battles are like that, guys. If you look up the Battle of 2nd Manassas, big Confederate victory. Battle of Chancellorsville, big Confederate victory again. But even though these big Confederate victories are big Union victories or whatever, I mean, you'll see on the casualty scales, they still almost suffered 1-to-1, with the exception of maybe 1,000 or 2,000 difference. There's almost always a 1-for-1 to trade. And in terms of attrition, it's never quite a victory for either side. But again, 1,100 lost, 1,200 dealt. Thank you, 1,200 lost, 1,300 dealt. So good playing from Thank you. I think a lot came for that regular infantry on his right flank shooting in the 3rd Corps. 3rd Corps had a big, again, good playing by Joseph. I think it was his first time here. And I'm glad to have him. And I think he had a tough game. He played very, very well. Everybody still had units left on the field, and it was still a fight. Again, it just came down to a matter of time. Pugic, who is 1st Corps, 3,900 men deployed, 1,500 lost, almost suffering 50% casualties almost. And returning 1,300. So not as much as he lost, but again, he had those bold counterattacks, and even though he lost more than the enemy did in those attacks there, you see that's attack supported with 5th Corps attack is what won the game. So necessary losses. And your boy Cold Front losing 1,400, dealing 1,200. I didn't play a lot in this game. Me and as you see, Fearless Huzzah down here. I mean, again, we didn't really do anything. We were in the woods. Nobody wanted to attack each other because, you know, whoever attacked would lose. So it's a standoff on the right flank. That's why I had to shift men to the center to help. Again, that's what 2nd Corps should have done. What I did, shift men to the center. I don't understand what he was doing. It was nobody's fault. Rose Hunter, who's playing Army of Tennessee, brought 3,500 men, losing 1,600. Again, 50% casualties there, and dealing 1,300 to the enemy. We got Joseph 3rd Corps again, took a lot of damage, a lot of guns on him. You know, essentially a little 1st Corps and a little bit of Cumberland attacking him. He lost 2,300 and only dealt 1,400 back. But again, he had a tough job, and he held out. And again, he dealt a lot of damage. Technically more than Pugic or Thank you. I mean, he did very well for his first game, or one of his first games. Husky commanding 2nd Corps only lost 900 and dealt back 1,000, which is pretty good considering he was in the woods. And again, I think he would have won that flank given the time. But again, even if he did, he wouldn't have taken this. He wouldn't have been able to take the 2 point in time. And whether the 2 point have mattered, that's to be debated. And we have Fearless Huzzah here, who again was on my flank, brought 3,300, only losing 600, dealing 1,000. So great playing from them. My own personal best unit was my 3-inch that was getting canister off that got 250 kills, and those Excelsior's Brigade and 70th New York Brigades that went up in the middle and got about 100 kills point blank in there at the end. Alright, great game, everybody. Thank you to everybody who played. Thank you for all you guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to know how the best help this channel is when you hit that subscribe button and you share the video. So I'll catch you all in the next ACW replay. Again, make sure to join the Discord. Make sure to go rate us on ModDB. Help us out. Help expand this mod in the community. We always have an active community. Let's make it even bigger. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Well, have a great day, and I'll catch you all next one. You know how this goes.